VP, welcome once again, and of course kila ambacho kimetuleta hapa leo ni kuhusu Eric Omondi na tuko na wakili wake hapa. Habari ya wakili?
Salama kabisa.
Are you comfortable with English, Swahili or both?
Because you are going to speak to the public, I will speak both. Yeah, so that we are able to tell the public on what is happening. Yeah.
And Bwana Wakili, yesterday, comedian Eric Omondi was apprehended at the Jomo Kenyatta International Airport. Please tell us what's really happening with the comedian.
Okay, Eric Omondi was alikuwa na they were launching Skyward Air Nairobi, Dar es Salaam. Yes, and immediately after the launch, there was a stop, or they were supposed to travel to Dar es Salaam. Then before he boarded the plane, he found a stop order that he shouldn't travel. So he was like, what is the problem? Then immediately was arrested, and he didn't travel to Dar. Akapelekwa DCI headquarters without knowing what was happening. Yeah.
Were given the reason why he was arrested?
No, he wasn't given the reason at that point in time. He was just told he can't travel, he can't go anywhere, hakuna mbali anafaa kuenda, because the DCI has put a stop order. He shouldn't travel. Yeah.
And right now Eric is still in cell hapa Central. You've tried to follow up, tumekuwa pale mpaka usiku, and maybe kuna watu wangependa kujua ni nini imemweka pale ama mbona wamemkeep for that long.
So actually he arrived at the DCI about 1 or 2 thereabout and called me immediately. So when I went there, I found him being interrogated, and the claims that were being raised there were that he's being interrogated or being suspected for money laundering. So we were like, money laundering? Okay, is there any claim? So they questioned him throughout. They asked him questions about his bank accounts, how he makes money, what he does and all that. Asked questions about people that he relates with, like Kina Jimmy Wanjigi, and if they fund him and all that. But it was very clear. Eric does the business of marketing, you see. So Jimmy Wanjigi and the rest of the guys are just his clients whom they did a transaction, and that came to an end. So there was really nothing that it was like a fishing expedition. They wanted to find out exactly if he is being funded or whatever he does. Yeah.
And so umesema kwamba he was being interrogated in connection with money laundering. Ukiangalia vile Eric Omondi amekuwa akiishi, what can you tell about where he gets his daily bread?
You know, Eric Omondi, and the reason why there's a bit of suspicion on how, or the government is uncomfortable about how he operates, is that Eric Omondi wears mostly 3 caps. He's a philanthropist, he's a comedian artist, and he's an activist. So the aspect of being a philanthropist makes the government feel like he's making so much money when he helps people. Because of course the government does not help people. So it's Eric who helps people. So those small things that he does, collects money. So I think they had an opinion like probably there are people from outside the country or politicians who are not in line with the current government who are funding him. But that was very clear. He does not have any accounts for those money. What he does is he identifies a person, he popularizes the issue, and then people send money directly to the affected person. There's no point where Eric has received money for himself. So that is the aspect of philanthropy that he uses. On the issue of activism, Eric does his activism by himself, and with a very low budget. There's nowhere where Eric has done as even mobilized people with using monies of up to 100 or 200,000 or thereabout. Nowhere. He said every time, and he explained it very clear that if you see any of his activism, it's always that he's either alone or ameenda kununua mboga. How much is mboga? Gunia mboga kwenda kumboga kwa parliament. That is about 1,000 or 2,000 shillings. So but that's what he does. And the other part of activism, all of us know Eric is an entertainer. And from his entertainment, that's where he gets his job, like the Skyward Express launch, Sunvit, there's this one that he launched a few days ago. I don't know, I can't remember, but there are several, Sparkle and many other things. So people give him jobs, and that's how he earns. But you see, if you look at it from outside, the government feels like, this guy might be receiving some extra money elsewhere. Nowhere. They checked their accounts. There's nowhere Eric has received even $1 million for the last 1 year directly to his accounts or any accounts associated with him. Nowhere. So all these are just, I think, a plan to frustrate him.
And once he got, transferred from the DCI headquarters, he was taken to the central. Currently, he's still in Central Police Station. And have you tried, giving him a cash bail and all that? What's happening?
The issue here was that when they could not find anything to associate him with money laundering, then the strategy changed. Almost at about 6 or 6:30, you are like, oh, everything has been done. In fact, they took his phone. So for purposes of forensics and all that, we say, that's okay. You want to take the phone for forensics? That's okay. But see, they didn't find anything for purposes of what? Of money laundering. So what they did is, things changed immediately at about 6, and we were like, at the DCI Parliament, it has been looking for you, so we need to take you to Central Police Station so that we can just have a conversation, then you leave. And we were like, hey, I was telling it, now this is a problem. We were not told about this issue the whole time. The issue was about money laundering. They found nothing in your account. They found nothing that you said that incriminates you for money laundering. What's the new issue about now going to Central Police Station? So, of course, we drove together, went to Central Police Station. When we arrived, we were told that there's an instruction that Eric had been arrested earlier for demonstrating earlier in Parliament, and he was issued with a cash bail. So they were telling us that cash bail had been withdrawn, and the DPP had recommended charges against Eric Omondi. So they were arresting him so that he stays in from Friday yesterday, today, Sunday, and they take him to court on Monday. So that is the current position. Yeah.
And according to the Kenyan constitution, wewe kama wakili, do you think it is wise, or rather is it lawful to keep somebody under police custody for more than 24 hours?
Of course, it is unlawful to keep somebody for more than 24 hours. But this, you see, the game they played is they arrested him on Friday in the evening. So the next available date for court is Monday. So if there is reason to hold you, the police are allowed to hold you. But for me, for this, I didn't think there is any reason to hold Eric for a whole weekend. Because if they are talking about the issue of cash bail, that cash bail was issued to him 2 weeks ago. And he has not ran away. Right? What was the fear of just telling Eric, go home, we still have your cash bail, arrive in court on Monday morning? We would have presented him in the morning. Why do they withdraw cash bail on a Friday evening so that they can present it? So they are misusing that even that option of cash bail. There is just more to this issue than what we can see. Yeah.
And Eric loves his job so much. Right now, he doesn't have the phone, and I know he's missing a lot, like clients as well, and also maybe his mental health. Have you tried to check on him? How is he doing right now?
Of course, I've known Eric for a very long time, but you see, when somebody gets you out of your job and runs with you in those Subarus, you are placed there and you don't know first where you are going because they don't tell you where you are going. And so when I found him, I was a bit shocked, and I don't think he's also very okay health-wise. I don't think he's okay health-wise because we've been speaking for some time. He's not okay. That's why we really worked hard. We left station, and I think we were there together yesterday. Yeah, we left station at about 12, trying just to find a way of having him. Trying to find a way to have him, to have those guys release him on bail. And everybody's like, oh, wakubwa wamesema. We tried DCI Parliament, wakubwa wamesema, DCI wakubwa wamesema. We are like, who is this mkubwa that Eric has wronged? So I think these people are misusing the powers that they have. Yeah.
So, Wakili, what do you think should be done right now? Because
and what is the secret agenda with this arrest?
Yeah.
When I went to sleep last night, I thought about this, and I'm thinking maybe there is no big issue that Eric has done. But you see, the president has a State of the Nation address on Thursday, right? Then there is also this hashtag that has been trending on Twitter, on Occupy Parliament once again. So I'm thinking, and this is a useless thinking, and probably they're thinking they're creating something which I may call an anticipatory crime. They're anticipating that Eric may be planning to cause chaos and all that because Eric has been involved previously on or engaged in some activities of activism in Parliament. So I think they're trying to threaten him or just buy him from doing any activity that will cause chaos or increase the tension that is rising on the Occupy Parliament protest that may be on Thursday. So probably they're rounding up many other people round, but Eric is prime because if you think about Parliament, and demonstration, the first one that comes to you individually. You see, you cannot talk about Gen Z because Gen Z you can't identify who. But if you want to identify one person that is associated with the demonstrations in Parliament, it's Eric. So that's I think why he's been arrested. That's what I think. Over and above the other issues of money laundering, because those are useless issues, very useless. Yeah.
And there were perhaps the police suspected that he also participated in funding the Gen Z protests around June 25th.
Yeah.
Can you tell us more?
Yeah, those were some of the questions that came up, but at that point they were useless questions. See, because I was with Eric 2 weeks or 3 weeks before the Gen Z protest, and at that point in time there was the issue where when he had gone to demonstrate in Parliament with I think a horse wearing some red. Yes, then he was arrested, and then when the DCI wanted to prefer charges, DCI Parliament wanted to prefer charges against him, the ODP refused because he was just picketing, and picketing is a right that we have in the Constitution, right? So afterwards, when he was released, something happened. His brother passed on, right? So immediately, Erico was busy burying his brother. And then the Gen Z issue arose. So could he sit down and start planning on how to fund the Gen Z movement or planning on how to bury his brother? Yeah. So that was a very useless claim. Yeah. So Eric never participated in the Gen Z funding. The Gen Z issue was an organic issue. Yes, it was just a rising crescendo. The government didn't read the mood of the moment, and it rose until it. So they cannot begin to blame it on anybody. Yes. Yeah.
And maybe do you have final remarks to the Kenyans out there and Eric Omondi supporters?
Every Eric Omondi supporter that is there, kindly stand with him at this moment. He's not okay. He's not well. Just wherever you are, you can push the hashtag to have Eric Omondi released. Yes, let them release Eric Omondi. There is nothing they are holding him for. There is no reason he's not been found to have done money laundering. He has a cash bail. He can go to Parliament. Let them release him. Release Eric Omondi.
And there's this final question. Yes. And of course, Eric Omondi being an influential person in the country, there would be attempts of trying to buy him, or rather to buy his silence while criticizing the government. Has there been any efforts to buy the comedian, maybe from major politicians like the Kenya Kwanza government or even the former deputy president?
You know Eric Omondi will not buy such shit. Yes, Eric is somebody who has his own stand. He knows what he wants. He does not need money. He's satisfied with whatever small he gets. He's okay with activism. That is his duty as a citizen, which all of us have. And you see, all of us should be thanking Eric Omondi. People who make money and don't want to go into the civic duty of patriotism, trying to push the government to do some things that are right. If they can buy a big car and drive on a road with potholes, they are okay. Right? But Eric Omondi is doing his civic duty of patriotism and activism. And that is what he loves doing. You cannot buy him out of that. That is what we trust with him. So I know there have been many attempts to bring him down. Of course, because they can't buy him, now they're using these other antics of now kumshika, kumweka kwa jela, and also that he toes the line. But I don't think he will. He will not toe the line. Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.